Welcome to the Stress-Free Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Block. As always, I want to inspire, entertain, and educate you on the best tools and technologies out there. My goal is to help make your practice and career more profitable, efficient, and most importantly, more enjoyable. And check out all of my nonfiction and children's books on Amazon, and check out the stressfreedentist.com for any upcoming events. And if you're feeling you're a dental professional that's burnt out, or you just feel stuck or want to get to that next level, visit the International Academy of Dental Life Coaches, or www.iadlc.com, and we'll get you matched up with a life coach that understands dentistry. I also wanted to thank our amazing sponsor, Ekwa Marketing. They have helped me and my practice over the years to improve with SEO and website performance. And to find out how you can make your practice dominate in your area, go to www.equa.com/MSMSFD to book your complimentary meeting. Again, that's www.ekwa.com/MSMSFD. Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode. And I'm joined by my good friend, the CEO of Ekwa Marketing, Naren Arulrajah. Naren, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to having this conversation. I know we're going to be talking about a really important topic today. Hope you had a good holidays and a great, new year. So I'm glad to do this very first episode for 2024.
Yeah, and it's right now it's January 2024, and I feel like any dentist out there should have a good plan or try something new, something different, try to make their business better for 2024. And today we're going to get into the mind of the dental buyer and go through that whole journey of the dental buyer. So Naren, first, can you explain what is the dental buyer's journey?
Absolutely. The dental buyer's journey is really simple. Back in 1999, when Google was, I think, barely a year old, Google was created in 1998. The dental buyer's journey was, we all had a yellow page book. For most of us, unless we know somebody who knows a dentist, we go to the yellow page book. We flip through it. We go to the section called dentist, and we look at the very big ad, and then maybe 2 or 3 other ads after that. And we read all the things on the ad, and then we see if it meets our need. And if it does, we call the office. Those of us who are a bit more quality conscious may call the local dental association to make sure that dentist had a good review, good standing with the local dental association, but that was very rare. Remember, in those days, Google reviews didn't exist. We didn't know how good or bad somebody was. So most of us made our decision based on that big ad. So that's how 80% of us did things. Of course, there were a few dentists who would buy billboards and, overwhelm the television or radio. And so we hear these people again and again, and then we call those people. But in 2024, that's totally different. Today, we use Google 8.5 billion times a day, and we use Google to find answers to our dental needs, find answers to help our kids. I know you have some young kids, find answers to find a restaurant. So whatever our questions are, we go to Google and we ask that question into Google, and Google gives us answers. It has been doing that now for 2 decades. I think Google was started in 1998. So more than 2 decades, I think 2008, 2000, yeah, more than 2 decades now, almost like 26th year this year. So Google is really good at it. It has become a habit. It has become a Wurgle. You Google something. So today, the dental buyer's journey is you Google something, and then you see what shows up. It could be an ad or it could be organic. None of us go looking for ads, but we do see the ads because it's also there on the page. But really, we are looking for the organic or the free result. That's step number 1. Just Google something and look for the answer. Step number 2 is click on the answer. And within 90 seconds, if they come from SEO, decide if this is an interesting practice and pick up the phone and call. The 90-second number is the average time they spend if they come through search engine optimization. If they come through a Google ad within 15 seconds, that's the average time a Google Ads visitor would spend on your website. Decide if you're right for them, and if so, click on the phone number and call your office. That's step number 2, is just going through the page either in 90 seconds or 15 seconds and calling your office. Remember, not everybody calls your office. Some do, some don't. We'll talk about that more. And then finally, step number 3 is the entire phone experience. In that phone experience, either I like what I hear and I book an appointment, or I don't. Those are the simple 3 steps. Now, that's totally different from the way things were back in 1998 or 1999.
Oh yeah, the big ad on the yellow pages, that's all you needed. Now, my office is we're in the suburbs outside of Boston. We're in a professional building. There's not much signage. Our town is very strict with signage. We're not really right near a highway to have a big billboard. So my practice, there's not really any way for people to know about us except for Google. And most new patient calls that I listen to, I hear the staff say, "How'd you hear of us?" And the patient will laugh and they say, "Yeah, there's Google," and it's like always a little laugh and just Google, and that's how they found us is by Google. Um, so Naren, what are you mentioned a couple of ways Google Ads versus dominating in Google. Can you explain, the difference between both of those and what are the pros and cons of these two options?
Absolutely. So your practice, you've been working with us, Ekwa, for I think several years now, and you get, if I'm not mistaken, more than 50, around 60 new patient calls a month. And all of them come from search engine optimization, meaning you don't pay a cent for Google Ads. All of them come through, organically because you rank, you show up at the top of Google. So that's SEO. Now, I'm glad you brought up, billboards and stuff. In your case, you can't do it, but in most cases, we have done this studies on this. 5% of new patients come from traditional media. That's the billboards, that's the ads, that's the radio, that's the TV. 5%. 95% are coming from digital. Digital has 4 buckets: SEO, Google Ads, social media ads, and organic social media. SEO, we talked about it. You show up organically when somebody types in some search terms like dentist near me or veneers, best veneers dentist, Phoenix, whatever the search term is. That's SEO. And then Google Ads is the same keyword, but you show up as an ad. And then social media ads is ads running on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And then organic social media is just like you get free traffic from Google through SEO, you can get free traffic from social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Let me get organic social media out of the way first, because we work with 500 doctors across the US and Canada. And of those 500, 1%, less than 1%, that's less than 5, actually get any meaningful new patients from social media, organic social media. So what happened? We all know TikTok happened not too long ago, and TikTok went from 0 to a billion users extremely fast. And Facebook was pretty nervous. Mark Zuckerberg was really nervous. So of course, like always, Mark Zuckerberg studied what TikTok did and made sure Instagram and Facebook does similar things. So what did TikTok do? TikTok hacked your brain. Pretty much it found out, they show you one video, you like it, they show you more of it. They show you another video, you don't like it, they never show you that kind of video again. So over time, they study your brain, and then it's just like, I'm sure those of us who have pets, we know, like, you want the pet to do something, you give him a treat. He will do anything. He could be like 10 years old, but he'll still do it, right? I mean, he doesn't know the trick we are playing. The same thing. You are the pet. Social media company is the guy with the treat. He's giving you the treats you like. You don't like certain treats, he won't give it to you. Like our dog, he doesn't like, certain kinds of food. He loves bananas, by the way. So I'll give him more bananas if that's what he likes. But if he doesn't like something, I won't give it to him, because he will spit it out. He will like smell it and he'll walk away. So it's not going to get him to do anything. That's kind of what happens. So what's the business model of these social media companies? So they get these influencers to create videos, and then influencer puts up a video, 50,000 people see it, 100,000 people see it. The dancing dentist comes to mind, the pimple popper comes to mind in the healthcare field. Now, they love these people, the Facebook czars, the CEO, the leaders of Facebook, and same thing with TikTok and all the other companies. They love these influencers because why? They get people to spend more time on Instagram, more time on Facebook, more time on TikTok. So the more time you spend, the more ads they can show. The more ads they can show, the more money they make. So it really comes down very simply. Either you are an influencer and you can get a lot of people coming to you, or you're not. If you're not, you will get hardly any new patients for free. So my advice is, don't waste your time and money unless you are an influencer. So who's an influencer? You put up a video, 10 to 20,000 people will see your video within 24 hours. Typically, these people have already spent 15 to 20 hours a week. The doctor himself or herself has spent 15 to 20 hours a week really living, breathing videos. So typically 1 to 2 videos a day. They master it, they study it, they become students of Instagram. They don't become successful overnight. It takes them typically 2 to 3 years. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, they get really good at it. And they get the traction on the social media platform, and everything they touched turns into gold. Now, there's one attribute about this one person. They love the media. They love the camera. They love being famous. They love putting themselves out there. Of course, they're willing to put the 15 to 20 hours. And most of the time, they also have a national something to sell. Remember, most people who see you on Instagram will not live in your town or city. So if you have nothing to sell them when they're like 10,000 or 5,000 or 3,000 miles away, you're going to waste all that effort. So typically they'll have a cream, a toothbrush, a health product, a book, a course, you name it. They have something that somebody far away can buy. Now that I have talked about social media organically, now let me talk about the other three options: SEO, Google Ads, and social media ads. The average person from SEO spends 90 seconds. The average person from Google Ads will spend 15 seconds. The average person from social media ads will spend 5 seconds. Why? They trust SEO. So when they click on it, their question is, convince me I was right, right? Because they asked a question, they clicked on the first answer or the answer at the top they liked. Convince me I was right in looking for you and clicking on you. If it's an ad, their question is, what's the catch, right? We all know anybody can buy an ad. So the question is, what's the catch? So when they're coming with that mindset of what's the catch, they're looking for a reason to leave your site, which is why instead of spending 90 seconds on average, they're spending 15 seconds. When it comes to social media ads, it's an ad, so they don't trust you, just like Google Ads. But on top of that, they have no intention. They didn't type in veneers near me or the best Invisalign dentist. So they're watching a video for Kim Kardashian and your ad shows up. And they're like, maybe they click on something, but they don't show up. And you're calling them and asking them, why didn't you show up? What? Did I click on it? I don't even remember. Remember, they were so engrossed in that video they were watching. So unless you are in that video, unless you are the influencer, it doesn't work for you. So that's why social media ads are even more expensive when you look at the actual cost of a new patient. Why am I talking about this? Because now that you know Google Ads will cost you at least 5 times as much as SEO. And as time goes along and SEO gets better, it might cost 10 times as much. And social media ads are twice as expensive as Google Ads. Then I think if you were to do these things, do them in order. Number one, SEO. Dominate it, own it, be the best at it in your entire community. Number two, Google Ads. Spend the extra money in Google Ads, even though it's 5 to 10 times more expensive. You still need the patience, spend money in it. And then finally, even if you have leftover money and you want even more patience, then go into social media ads. Of course, if you're an influencer, continue spending the 15 to 20 hours, you are in that 1%. Continue building a national product you can sell to people all over the country, all over the world. That's what I would do if you are an influencer in social media. So I hope I kind of gave you some color. I think a lot of times when we don't understand the game and the options, we don't pick the right game, we don't pick the right strategy, and we lose.
Yeah, the social media influencer route sounds exhausting, like 15 to 20 hours, and you really got to be invested in that. And like you mentioned, I think it's more if you're trying to get some national audience. Because I know if I'm looking up Kim Kardashian and my face pops up, I'm swiping out of there real quick, to get my ad off. But yeah, that's just not for me. It's just not my personality to put that kind of time and effort into it. Not to say that people can't do it, but you really got to live and breathe that. And then the Google Ads, personally, I just go on, or when I'm searching something, I just go on regular, Google, and I search something, and I go right past the ads part down to the first, within the first page of the organic area. Because like you mentioned, I don't trust the ads. A lot of times they aren't exactly what I'm looking for. If I'm searching, haircuts near me, which I need a haircut, but I don't go to the ads because it may not be exactly what I'm looking for. So I tend to go more towards the organic area. And that's exactly what you're recommending, right? For this dental buyer journey. You know, like I mentioned, most of the time when I listen to calls, I hear that dental buyer's journey, and it's just they're searching dentist near me or something of those, those keywords. And then it's not from the paid ads. Um, so I just went on a little rant there, but let's I just mentioned the phone. What
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering, so maybe what we can do is talk about step two. So step one is, you know, either buy Google Ads or dominate SEO, right? Dominate SEO, like we established, is 5 times less expensive than Google Ads. So definitely work on it. The only reason you might still want to use ads is, let's say you are a startup and you need to like bring in so many extra patients in a hurry because you're losing money every day because you don't have enough patients, then of course spend a bit of money on ads because you have to. But if you're not a startup, be really, really, really smart. Maybe use it strategically for the big cases. So you're making 10,000. So even if you spend $1,000 on ads to get a single patient, it's okay, right? So outside of those strategic cases, I think you shouldn't waste money on Google Ads. Now, Google makes a killing because SEO is super hard, right? 95% of people get nothing from SEO. So those 95% have no choice but to, use Google Ads. But if you can figure out how to get into the top 5%, maybe we can include a link to a podcast you and I did. Then I would use dominating Google, which is, how do you know you're dominating Google? You're ranking for 100 or more keywords on page one. That means you're in the top 5%. So if you're ranking for 100 or more keywords on page one of Google, you're in the top 5%. Perhaps we can put a link to that episode, where you can learn about how to dominate Google. So that's how I would recommend, working on step one. Step one is, showing up when people type something into Google. Maybe we can go to step two. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to mention about the ads. Like you could really burn through some cash quickly if you're not careful with ads. We used to dump a bunch of dough into Google Ads, and we didn't, really get much out of it. So just, out there, anyone listening, just be careful with Google Ads and what you're spending. I've just found it so much more successful with just your regular organic SEO. Um, so how do you organically appear near the top? Because that's really, I feel, the most important is, pass those ads and you're kind of at the top of the organic section for sure, page one. How do you do that?
Yeah, the Google cares about 6 things. If you do those 6 things extremely well, then you're going to be on page one for 100 or more keywords and phrases. What are those 6 things? One is NAP consistency. So that stands for name, address, phone number consistency. You have your name, address, and phone number listed in different places, and you want to make sure that your name, address, and phone number are consistent in all those places. So in our case, you are our client, Eric. So we have a massive team working on your name, address, phone number consistency. They find all these directories, they find where the problems are, they fix them. It's never ending because sometimes the fix we made 2 weeks ago now vanishes. Why? That directory made an update to their database and the correct information got wiped out by an old information. Or there was a duplicate profile that was created because they saw a slightly different version of your name and they thought that's a different business and they created 2 profiles instead of one. So somebody has to go claim it, merge it, tell those people it's one, could be a 1 month project. So NAP is key. Google Lighthouse score. Google Lighthouse score is every page gets a score on 5 areas, 0 to 100. If you're getting close to 100 on all 5, you're crushing it. If you're not, again, you're not getting an A, you won't do well with SEO. Google Eat, it doesn't affect all industries, but it does affect healthcare, expertise, authority, and trust. How are you doing on Google Eat? Are you paying attention? If you're not, then pay attention and work on it and improve it. If you do, you're going to do extremely well with SEO. Original content. Google loves original content, not AI content, but original human content. So 400 words, only 20 out of 400 words can be copied. The other 380 has to be original 100%. Pay attention to it. And there's other rules related to original content. Quality backlinks, how many people are linking to you. Um, um, Google reviews, do you have those love letter reviews? Are you keep getting them month after month after month? So there are these 6 things, and if you do them really, really well. So my secret is just have somebody working on each one of those 6 things every day, every week, every month. If you do that over time, you're going to get into that top 5%, and you're going to stay in the top 5%. If you don't, then forget it.
Yeah, and going through the journey, a buyer, or in our case, a patient, a prospective patient, have to be thinking at that moment, okay, it's time for me to, get a cleaning, or they have an emergency situation. Then they're going to go on a search engine, like Google, and search dentist near me, and then they call. They call the office. You
No, no, no,
finally.
no. Actually, they don't call. They click on it and they go to the page, and that page either convinces them to call or convinces them not to call,
Mhm.
meaning they are impressed with what they see or they are not impressed with what they see. Making sense?
So they could easily not call and just go on to the next dentist. But if you have,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
um,
maybe go ahead.
I was going to say, but if you're doing everything right, you're doing everything the right way, and they do call, this is the next step in the journey, correct?
Well, so step one, step two, step three. Step one is when people type something into Google, you show up, right? Step one. Step two is they click on what they see, whether it's an ad or SEO. If it's SEO, then they'll give you 90 seconds. When they click on it, if it's ad, they'll give you 15 seconds. So let's say they clicked on an SEO link because you are ranking on SEO really well. Now, step two is, are they convinced to pick up the phone and call you because they love what they see? So let's talk about what are they looking for if they come through SEO and they're giving you 90 seconds. Again, we have studied thousands of these people. We have tracked everything. We have listened to experts. What we find is they're looking for 3 things. Number one is, are you an expert? So I typed in veneers. Like if I see tons of cases before, after, before picture, after picture, but ideally full face picture, so I can see the transformation. So if I see, let's say 6, 7, 8 cases where I can see beautiful smiles versus, ugly smiles as the before, I'm like, he must be an expert in veneers because he has helped so many people. And one of those people even looks like me, maybe similar to my age. I'm in my 40s. He's a guy in his 40s, similar to my skin color, you know, male versus female. So when I see someone that looks like me who has gotten the outcome I'm looking for, I immediately trust this practice. I'm like, yeah, I can buy that new car for $20,000 or get this beautiful smile for $30,000, but I'm going to go with the smile because it's going to last me for 20 years. And I can't stop smiling like this person on the screen, right? So it's very, 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 very powerful in convincing people you are an expert in veneers. So remember, page by page by page, again, don't try to do it with every page. Look at the top 5 procedures that are most profitable for you and just focus on those. For those pages, have these beautiful before and after pictures. Ideally, the full face after pictures are included in them. And also do a small write up. So you have bullet points. We'll put a link so we can show you an example of how to do it right. So it could be like first line of that bullet point for that case is story, why they found you, what were they looking for. Second line is what you did. Third one is what you did, plus what the outcome was and how they felt about it. Of course, the pictures will do most of the talking. So that's the first thing they're looking for. Are you an expert? Second thing they're looking for is, do they like you? And that's where videos come in. Do 45-second videos. I'm going to give you the dummies version because this works 90% of the time. Do a 45-second video where the beginning of the video is, hello, I'm so and so. Welcome to my veneers page. Welcome to my implants page. I have been doing implants. I mean, whatever the page you're on, say for that page, I've been doing implants for 15 years. I've helped hundreds of patients. Of course, don't make anything up. Don't lie. Be honest. Be truthful. Please check out the cases on this page. Please check out some of the reviews on this page. And if you like what you see, call our office. We would love to help you. And here is our phone number. 45 seconds. Anybody can do this. That should be at the top of the page because remember, the minute somebody says hello and welcome, we start liking them. How many times, even when you meet somebody in person at a dental office, do they say hello and welcome? Right? They don't, right? So this totally stands out, and you're going to be in their mind somebody totally different, somebody very friendly, somebody they can talk to, somebody who would listen to them. Remember, when they're going to give you that much money or when they're putting their health in your hands, they don't want to go to somebody they don't like. So help them like you. Most of you have an awesome personality. I bet all of you, or like 90% of you, let it shine through, right? Be that, easygoing self you already are. And finally, what you need to do to dominate step 2 is those Google reviews. Now, in our case, we take care of it for our clients. We find the reviews from Google, the relevant reviews, and we post it there. So the last step is, yeah, he's an expert. I've seen so many cases. I like him. I like the video, but that's not it. There are so many other reviews verified by Google that already say that he's really good at what he does when it comes to veneers, or she's really good at what she does when it comes to veneers. So that's step 2. That's how you master step 2.
Yeah, those reviews are so important. And what you mentioned with the video and the photos and the images and the little write-up, it's not that much work what you're asking for. You just gotta do it and give it to a professional team that can help you. Do you want to talk about step 3, the phone experience?
Oh, absolutely. So now SEO works. People show up to your page. They click on it because they love what they saw on the page. Now it's a phone, right? Here, the problem I find with most dental practices is they don't know what's going on. Like they don't have metrics. So imagine, I mean, you have 2 young children. Imagine they go to school and they're never given grades. They're never given marks. Like how can they improve? How can you help them improve? Right? You don't know whether they're getting 90 or whether they're getting 10. Like, how do you help them? Right? So one of the beauties of like grades and rankings and numbers is you know where you stand. And then, of course, if you get a 10, you can go through all the questions the kid got wrong, and you can help the kid. Oh, maybe it's a time issue. Maybe it's they don't know the subject or this chapter at all issue. Whatever it is, you can troubleshoot and sit down with the kid and help the kid improve, right? So the problem with dental practice is they don't know what their missed call percentage is, meaning that's the percentage of calls that are not even answered. Today, if you don't answer a call, they won't leave a voicemail, especially new patients. So you lose them for good. So imagine you are like, this is a true story. Imagine you are missing 42% of your calls. That means instead of getting 100 new patients, you will only get 42 at the most, or 58 at the most, because you're losing 42. Another metric to track is conversion rate. Okay, now that you have answered the call, what percentage of those new patients whose calls you answered are actually booking appointments versus not? And most teams will say, oh, it's perfect. We are booking everybody. What they're kind of not telling you is the ones we didn't book are bad patients anyways. So if they didn't book, they're a bad patient. That's why we didn't book them, right? So, but that's not real. Like I've seen situations where a practice is only booking 35% of the new patients who are calling the office, and they're missing out on 65. So again, using that pipe analogy, massive pipe, a lot of water is being pumped, but 65% of the water is just going to waste. Now you're wasting thousands of dollars on all that new patients who never come to your office, never see you, never become long-time patients. So phone is also critical, but you can't solve the phone problem till you solve the second problem. You can't solve the second problem, which is pages having all the information to convince somebody to call you, when you haven't solved the first problem, which is, are you dominating Google? Are you showing up on Google? So there is a step-by-step process. And my experience is when we do all these 3 steps, the ROI will be massive compared to any other kind of marketing, which is why like you and everybody else we have as a client, Eric, they never leave us. I mean, 95% of our clients stay with us for life because we just do those steps step by step. And whether it's us or somebody else, make sure these things are happening for you.
Yeah, like I mentioned, most dentists can't do this by themselves or their staff. You need a professional company to do this for you. So regarding helping dental offices with their dental buyer's journey, where do we get started?
Yeah, I think maybe a good place to start is to do a marketing strategy meeting. I believe that's what you did, right, Eric, before you got
Mhm.
started with us. And it's a 90-minute meeting. It could be 60 minutes, depending on how much there is to discuss. But we just to be on the safe side, let's say 90 minutes. Prior to that meeting, our team will analyze how you are doing on Google. Are you dominating Google? Are you in the top 5%? If you are, then we're going to say keep doing what you're doing. But like 95% of the practice owners, if you're not, then we'll tell you why you are not. So of these 6 things Google cares about, Are you doing some well, some not as well? Where are you getting an A? Where are you getting a C? Where are you getting a D? So we'll give you a complete report card, and we'll literally show you examples and data behind why we believe you're getting a C or an A for that particular thing. And then finally, we'll show you a roadmap. So we'll show you a roadmap for each of these dental buyer's journey step. Step one, for you to dominate Google, here are the things you need to do in these 4 areas. 2 you're doing well, but the other 4. And here are the steps you have to take within the first 12 months to get into the top 5%. Then on the landing page, again, here are the things you're doing well, here are the things you're not doing well, and here are the steps you should take. So we'll give you this step-by-step plan on getting to the top 5% and then convincing people on those landing pages. If you do those 2 things, you're going to have an unfair advantage. You're going to crush marketing, and slowly you'll start dropping PPO plans too, which are very, very expensive ways to get new patients. And the link for that is ekwa.com/MSMSFD. ekwa.com/MSMSFD.
Naren, every time we speak, I learn something new. Thank you so much for joining us. Such a great episode.
I really had fun too, Eric. Hopefully that link. Any comments on the marketing strategy meeting, Eric? It's ekwa.com/MSMSFD. What was your experience like when you did that?
Well, it's, first of all, it's good to see where you stand. Have someone that analyzes your current situation, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. I think that was one of the most valuable things, is to see where you stand, see where you need the help, and then go from there and create a plan. Without that, you don't really know where you stand. And if you don't know where you stand, then you don't know, can't create a plan, and you can't really improve. So I think that was one of the most important things regarding the marketing strategy.
That's awesome.
All right, Naren, again, thank you so much for such a great episode and reviewing the entire dental buyer's journey. Thanks again for listening to the Stress Free Dentist podcast. And don't hesitate to get in touch with me at info@thestressfreedentist.com. And if you haven't already, please subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Until the next episode, I'm Dr. Eric Block, the Stress Free Dentist.